9, Calculating the Return. Inside the Aqua Phi, the systems room door slid open. Troy and Phasar turned around in their chairs and jumped out ecstatically. Smiling, they ran over to embrace everyone now that returned to the system center. Relieved, Troy said, "I'm glad all of you are still alive and well." He walked over to the screen and pointed to the reading. "I've been attempting to isolate the location of the vortex on the monitor. On the screen here, I found a very faint reading of it," he continued. "Phasar and I concluded that since our enemies on the other side of the vortex are no longer there, if we return to our own waters, we could rebuild our home again." He paused for an overwhelming smile that appeared on his face and said, "If we could generate the same amount of speed it took to get on this side of the vortex, we could just the same get back to the other side and we could be home again. Wouldn't you agree?" he asked excitedly. For a few seconds, stillness overtook the systems room. One by one, smiles broke through on everyone's face until they grew to laughter. The laughter stopped abruptly as the doors slid open and shut and they saw Arad. "Well, I looked out of my hotel room window in time to see you enter the Aqua Phi, and I didn't want to miss our trip back home," said Arad nonchalantly. The others stared at him and then at each other. Faltor thought quietly in amazement, how is it they all understood and accepted this as the only way to get home? How was it they all instinctively knew it had to happen now? He understood there was no time to ask these questions now. He felt comfort in knowing this connection they shared proved that this place couldn't be their home. Let everyone move to their usual station, and Faltor will resume his leadership role. We hope to see everyone again once we arrive home, Balkan hopefully concluded. He and the other members of the decision-making group exited the systems room. Una squeezed her husband's hand and whispered, "I love you." He watched her exit through the doors. Then he turned and ordered, "Let's get operations underway." The systems crew took their places and began monitoring the screens and reading the patterns just as naturally as they had done before. "Sir, there it is again. I have no doubt that has to be the vortex," exclaimed Troy, while pointing to a faint reading on the screen. Faltor and Arad approached the screen. Faltor peered intently at the signal. "Can you magnify that reading?" he asked. "Yes, sir," answered Troy as he immediately went to work on Faltor's request. "If we are able to receive a reading from the vortex, it has to be because the water surges from it are different from the waters here, sir," he said. "Which means that if we're able to pick up the direction of the surges, we'll know in what direction to travel and get back home," deciphered Phasar. "Well, if that's the case, Troy can work on monitoring those surges," ordered Faltor. "Already working on it, sir," replied Troy. The crew members felt encouraged by this theory and knew in their hearts that their efforts would get them home.